We saw global economies showing signs of recovery in the second quarter. How did the Namibian economy fare, given that we saw an improvement in commodity prices during the same period?
Well, let me just discuss a little bit about the global economic turnaround. We are particularly encouraged by the turnaround on the stock markets. Prices are beginning to rally again. We've also are encouraged by the commodity price improvements. Further, Namibia is particularly encouraged by the turnaround in the GDP growth in the countries like France, Germany, and Japan. The impact that this is having on the Namibian economy is quite impressive. Our mining industry is beginning to turn around, in particularly the diamond mining industry, which was particularly affected by the global downturn. We've seen a slight growth between the first quarter and the second quarter. Obviously, we are still not at the level before the crisis, but at least these are very encouraging signs.
Now, Paul, how sustainable is this trend that we're seeing in the second quarter? Many economists in South Africa, your biggest trading partner that is, are saying the third quarter may well be last quarter for negative growth.
Well, in the case of Namibia, the first quarter is probably still negative year on year. Most probably the second quarter will also turn out to be negative, especially because of the weight of diamond mining in the economy. But these signs that I just described, not only in the primary sectors, but also in the secondary sectors, in the tourism sector, are very encouraging. So hopefully by the third, fourth quarter, we can post some positive growth rates again.
Now, you've touched on the mining sector, which is obviously a key sector for your market. However, agriculture has also been showing some life into it.
Yes, very much so. In Namibia, livestock marketing is still the mainstay of the agricultural sector, and we've seen some pretty good performance both from small stock marketing as well as cattle marketing.
Now, Paul, given this picture of hope, does the central bank need to provide more stimulus in the form of lower interest rates?
It's a very good question. What is determining the decision by the central bank to do any further intervention in terms of monetary policy is dictated by the demand of credit. We haven't seen any material reaction to the past expansionary monetary policy, but we also have to be very wary about inflationary trends which are on the horizon, mainly as a result of commodity price increases and global demand surges as a result of stimulus packages all around the globe.
Then, Paul, should the economy deteriorate, is the Bank of Namibia ready to assist with bigger rate cuts?
As I indicated, it's very difficult to say. It's not only the central bank that's responsible to respond through policy interventions, but also from the government side. And government is playing its role by having accelerated expenditure, by having given relief on value-added tax and on income tax. So I think that policy response will suffice for the time being.
Okay, Paul, what is the bank's forecast for growth and inflation next year?
Growth would, the official projection for growth for the entire calendar year is still 0.6% for the entire year. We really hope that the economy can post much better performance during 2010. Inflation is a concern. Currently it's manageable. We don't have a concern at the moment, but as I indicated, there are various risks on the horizon that we have to take into account.
Paul, talking about 2010, just briefly, are there any estimates on how much the 2010 World Cup in South Africa will add to the Namibian growth next year?
Officially, there have not been made any official estimates about the impact of the World Cup on the Namibian economy, but I know that the authorities are working on ways to maximize the spin-offs from the South African event.